Hi everybody, this is Lindsay from Winding Road Crochet, and this is the third episode in my How to Crochet Gnome series. In this episode we're going to learn how to crochet the beard and the braids for our gnomes. If you enjoyed this tutorial, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell to be notified of future videos. You can also follow me on Instagram and Facebook. So to get started, we are going to be using worsted weight yarn like we have for the rest of this project. We're also going to use a size E 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. We're going to be making the beard like you see here on this little gentleman gnome. And then we are also going to be making the braids like you see here on our little girl hula gnome. Let's go ahead and start making a brown beard. You're going to make a slip knot, put your hook through your loop, and we are just going to chain 12 here. To get started, you are just going to chain 12, preferably keeping your yarn on your hook. Once you have 12 chained, we are going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook and every chain across, so we will have a total of 11 single crochet. And this is actually going to be the only row we work for the beard, and when we do the braids, you're going to notice it's done pretty much the exact same way. So now that we have finished row 1, working that last single crochet, we are just going to fasten off, leaving enough of a tail so that you can weave it in later. Yarn over, pull through that last loop, and pull the end all the way through. So that's going to be the base for our beard. And now we're going to need to make the beard strands. And the way I've been doing it is I just take my brown yarn, I hold it between my thumb and my fingers. I just pinch it here and I wrap it around my hand 21 times. You want to do 21 if you are doing just the beard. You're going to do 24 if you're going to do a mustache as well. But after doing this several times, I found that I don't really care for the mustache as much. I did do it on 2 of my gnomes. So once you've wrapped that around 21 times, I'm just going to hold that there and very, very carefully slip my scissors in between the yarn and my skin and just clip those threads. We're only clipping it on one side. So it's going to be roughly about an 8-inch pieces of yarn, and you should have about 21 of them. So now we are going to take those pieces of yarn and we are going to attach them onto this row of single crochet just like you would do fringe. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the very center row, so if you count from either side it should be the 6th single crochet, and then I'm going to take 3 strands of my yarn, and to attach fringe what you would do is take your strands, you're going to fold them in half, and then take that loop and we're going to pull it through our stitch. So use your hook, carefully pull it through your stitch, and then pull up that loop enough that now we are going to take all 6 yarn ends and we're going to pull it through that loop. There we go. And then we will pull it tight. That is how you make fringe, and that's how we are doing this beard. So now from here we are going to work over on both sides. So you're going to have a total of 7 fringe pieces. So once all of your fringe is on your piece, you are ready to attach this to your gnome, and then you can go ahead and style it. One option, of course, is to take these strands, untwist them, and separate. I normally separate in groups of 2. Separate these strands together, and you can style it that way for a much bushier beard. You can see the unraveled beard here creates kind of a curly looking beard, or another favorite is to put a ponytail at the bottom of the beard to make it look nice and groomed. Now let's move right along to our lady gnome who is going to have blonde hair. It's going to be a very similar process. We're going to make a slip knot, insert our hook. This time we are going to chain 7. 5, 6, and 7. We are going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and we are going to single crochet in each chain across for a total of 6 single crochet. So once row 1 is done, we are going to fasten off, leaving enough yarn to weave in our ends. and then just yarn over and pull through that last loop all the way and create a knot. You will need to make 2 of these base pieces. So now we are going to make some more strands of yarn. This time you're only going to need to make 12 strands of yarn. So once you have your 12, again, very carefully take your scissors and cut one end of your strands. And we're ready to make our fringe. So take one piece this time, fold it in half. We are going to do 1 strand of fringe on every single crochet here. So push your hook through one of the stitches, grab that loop, pull through the stitch, and then grab the yarn ends and pull through the loop. It's very, very easy to do with a crochet hook. So I'm just going to do that for every single stitch here. We'll have a total of 6 fringe and a total of 12 ends when we're done. So one side of my fringe is done and I'm ready to braid it. You can weave in these ends or you can save one of the ends to sew on to the gnome later. That's completely up to you. But now what we need to do is we need to braid it. I always braid it before I put it on the gnome. We're going to separate everything out into groups of 4 and then I'm just going to start braiding it. And if you have a clipboard or something to attach the top of this to, it makes it much easier. But I'm just using my fingers here. The other thing I like to do is I like to take my braid and I like to try to pull it over to one side, because if you think about it, when we braid our hair, we braid it over our shoulder and so we're pulling it forward. So I like to pull it kind of off to one side. And then you don't actually have to braid it that far down. If your gnome is complete, you can compare it to the gnome to see how far down you need to go. Once I have it about an inch or about 2 inches from the very top, I'm just going to pinch this here, grab one more strand of yarn, and I'm going to use that to tie a knot at the end. Starting from the back, coming forward, we're going to tie just an overhand knot. I'm going to tie this here, pull that real tight, and then I'm going to flip it over and knot it on the back side as well. And then what I actually like to do is take a yarn needle and feed it down through that center area so that the ends hang down a little nicer. But you just knot it twice on the back, trim your edges, and your braid is done. So you will need to make a second braid, and you want to pull that to the opposite side you pulled the first one, or just flip them over. But that is your braid, and that is your gnome beard for your gnomes. That's how you do it. So make sure to check out the next episode to see how we finish up our gnomes. And as always, thank you so much for watching.